A phobia is an unreasonable fear of anything that is unlikely to harm you, like a scenario, a live being, or an object. Its origins are in the Greek word phobos, which means terror or fear. Traumatic events or stressful situations throughout early childhood cause the formation of particular or strange phobias. With more than 400 unique and strange phobias that are well recognized by psychologists, it is the most prevalent type of anxiety illness. The amygdala is the region of the brain that causes strange fears. People who have a parent or other close relative who has a particular fear are more likely to experience that phobia themselves. At least once in their life, 15% to 20% of us face distinct phobias. Cognitive behavior therapy helps persons with specific phobias overcome their concerns 75% of the time, compared to only 20% of patients who seek therapy for phobias, CBT. The dread of social circumstances is one of the most prevalent phobias, known as social phobia. Or perhaps you've heard of phobia. This is the anxiety associated with phobias. That sounds intriguing. Let's look at 15 more strange phobias that you probably had no idea existed. Number 1. Somnophobia. Somnophobia is the fear of sleeping. An excessive and illogical fear of sleeping is a common aspect of somnophobia. People who suffer from this phobia fear that they will pass away while asleep. They worry about slipping away while they sleep. Since sleep is necessary for humans and has numerous positive health effects, chronic sleep deprivation raises the risk of colds, heart disease, obesity, and diabetes. Number 2. Callogenophobia. Aversion to attractive women. Venestrophobia is another name for callogenophobia. It is one of the strange phobias that includes an unusual aversion to attractive ladies. Although it may be natural for males to be frightened by a pretty person, people who have this disease go over and above. Around a beautiful woman, they experience chest ache, numbness in their extremities, or even faint. Number 3. Fear of sitting down. Cathysophobia. A specific phobia associated with the fear of sitting down is called cathysophobia. It is connected to the dread of sitting or being still, or tassophobia. People with this phobia frequently feel dread, intense anxiety, and any symptoms of panic, including increased sweating, rapid breathing, nausea, irregular heartbeat, dry mouth, shaking, and difficulty speaking clearly. Number 4. Ketophobia. An aversion to hair. One strange fear involving a human body component is ketophobia. The dread of hair, whether it be one's own, that of others, or even that of animals, is included in this phobia. Ketophobics frequently avoid having their hair touched or being touched by others. It might also be impossible for them to have a haircut since they would be paralyzed by the sight of a pile of hair on the ground. This syndrome may develop as a result of a traumatic event such as a poor haircut, significant hair loss, or turning bald. Number 5. Omphalophobia. A fear of the navel. Omphalophobia is a fear of the navel or belly buttons. The linkage between the belly button and the umbilical cord and a mother's womb is a contributing factor in this phobia. Omphalophobia is the fear of seeing or touching belly buttons, including one's own. They might cover their navels with a bandage and stay away from areas like the beach where there are many of exposed belly buttons. Number 6. Geliophobia. Anxiety about laughing. Those who suffer from geliophobia fear laughing. If a person has one of these strange phobias, they also detest the sound of other people laughing or giggling. Some people may only feel a little uneasy, while others may begin to hyperventilate. It could arise from laughing at the wrong time and feeling humiliated and embarrassed as a result. A geliophobic person could also be made fun of for other uncontrollable causes. Number 7. Plutophobia. Plutophobia is the fear of money. Plutophobia is a fear of material possessions or wealth. One of those strange phobias, it might make you fear money, becoming affluent, or rich people. Plutophobics frequently fear gaining more money, becoming wealthy, or being among rich people. They hate dealing with money and having to make it. This phobia might have its roots in a dread of being robbed or in the expectations and obligations that come with money. Number 8. Dextrophobia, fear of having objects on your right. A specialized or isolated dread of having things on your right is called dextrophobia. It is an instance of OCD that is focused on non-social important aspects. This fear frequently develops as a result of prior traumatic experiences in childhood, which were typically physically harmful. Dextrophobic individuals cannot tolerate having things near their right side of the body. In extreme situations, people will modify their environment to satisfy this compulsive desire. Number 9. Fear of stars, or siderophobia. Siderophobics do not take pleasure in stargazing at night like the majority of us do. They have a strange and extremely uncommon phobia of stars. Siderophobics frequently keep their drapes closed and avoid going outside at night in order to prevent feeling overwhelmed by the size of the universe. People with siderophobia may have panic attacks, dizziness, loss of consciousness, elevated heart rate, and fainting if they see stars. Number 10. Ablutophobia, an aversion to cleaning and bathing. The fear of bathing and cleansing oneself is known as ablutophobia. It is one of those strange phobias that affects kids more often but can also affect adults. Ablutophobics avoid bathing or showering, which results in unpleasant body odor and occasionally social isolation. It has its roots in a painful prior experience involving water or a fear of getting wet. Number 11. Fear of peanut butter adhering to the roof of your mouth, or arachibutyrophobia. The dread of peanut butter clinging to your mouth's roof is known as arachibutyrophobia. People who have this phobia are nervous and terrified of it, despite the fact that it is an uncomfortable sensation for the majority of us. They might stay away from anything made with peanuts, like ice cream and peanut butter spread. It might have larger phobias at its core, such as fear of suffocating or sticky materials. Number 12. Fear of trees, or hylophobia. The unreasonable dread of trees, wood, or forests is known as hylophobia. This phobia is frequently correlated with exposure to children's movies and fairy tales featuring spooky forests. Hylophobia is a lifelong phobia for those who have it. They can become extremely anxious when walking through a forest or woodland region. Number 13. Phobia of opening one's eyes, or optophobia. Optophobia is a bizarre and enduring aversion to opening one's eyes. People with this uncommon phobia often prefer to stay inside or in dimly lit spaces, which makes it highly crippling for them. They find it challenging to go about their regular lives without seeing and opening their eyes. Optophobia is a symptom of generalized anxiety disorder and was brought on by seeing or hearing about a terrible event. 14. Phagophobia, an anxiety about swallowing. The dread of swallowing is a rare and distinct phobia known as phagophobia. It can occasionally be confused with pseudodysphagia or choking anxiety. Phagophobia is typically brought on by a bad dining experience. The throat muscles of those who experience it tighten due to anxiety and strain. The dread may grow as a result of them becoming physically unable to swallow due to excessive anxiety. 15. Nomophobia, the fear of being unable to use one's cell phone. The dread of losing one's cell phone, losing signal, running out of battery life, or even losing sight of it can cause nomophobia. People who experience one of these strange phobias check their phones compulsively, and they become extremely anxious if they are unable to access them. This anxiety is frequently caused by cell phone addiction. There are many anxieties and phobias that exist that we are not aware of, ranging from the most typical to the most bizarre. For the majority of those affected, it goes beyond simple fear of something. Encourage anyone you know who suffers from one of the unusual phobias mentioned above to get assistance. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more facts videos if you liked our video.